This live sports presentation is proudly brought to you by Enjoy Snacks, IBEW Local 1186 and its unionized electrical contractors, and Hawaii Honda dealers. X marks the spot for Hawaii's most comprehensive local coverage of high school sports. From Hilo to Hanalei, get ready for excellence in athletic competition from the schools and communities that are near and dear to your heart. This is girls basketball. Punahou versus Kamehameha Kapalama. Extra school spirit and personal pride all on display. OC 16's XCast begins right now.
For the first time in 4 years, we are back on the campus of Kamehameha Kapalama and welcome inside the beautiful Kekuhaupio Gymnasium. The ILH's center stage on XCast. Game one of our doubleheader, the ladies hit the floor as the Buff and Blue of Puno take on the Warriors of Kamehameha Kapalama. And we welcome you courtside. It's great to have you with us. Felipe Ojastro, he's Kevin Wong. The ILH Division I this season has been dominated by the likes of Marino. They've already secured a spot really into the state tournament, winning the regular season. And now here you have these two teams fighting for ILH postseason seeding.
Yeah, you talk about the seeding, you talk about being relevant. Team comes in, they come in on a roll, having won 4 or 5. Punahou looking to right the ship after 3 losses in a row. Really interesting to see these two great programs clash here tonight.
These are the standings here in this 2016-2017 ILH season. Marino's at the top. They're undefeated 10-0, and they're the #1 team in the power rankings. Iolani has a half-game lead over Kamehameha. Warriors trying to keep pace with the likes of the Raiders. Buff and Blue trying to bounce back, get some momentum with the postseason ahead in just a few weeks at 3-7. So here comes a Punahou team that fell to Kamehameha January the 7th, 39-27. And a lot of good players on this team, led by some of their seniors, and Kamani Kandia, a solid offensive weapon here for the Buff and Blue.
That essence basketball is about getting the ball into the basket, and maybe no one better in the state than Kandia. She can do it from short range, from long range, everywhere in between. Also gives so much effort. 100% kind of person every single day.
The new City Nissan player to watch there for the Buff and Blue. Meanwhile, for the Warriors, this is a team that is very motivated to get to the Blaisdell, maybe take home that state championship. And when you look at some of their offensive weapons, who could stand out tonight?
We're going to look at number 23, Mikiala Mayo. Someone who's a great decision maker at the point guard position, but not someone who takes off time on the defensive side like you see a lot of the showboater. 100% on both sides of the court, and really going to be a key factor here tonight for Kamehameha Schools Kapalama.
Feels good to be back here on the campus atop the hill. We got tip-off coming up next here from Kekuhaupio Gymnasium. Kamehameha and Punahou, the ladies, kick us off on XCast. Zippy starting lineups here. First for the Buff and Blue, who come in at 3-7 on the season. Kamani Kandia, Tanisha Elborn, the transfer out of Radford, sat out last year because of ILH transfer rules. Now in her first varsity season with the Buff and Blue. Abia Plaka, Kristen Tamagawa, and El Ueda, the 5'7" senior, led by their first-year head coach, Tita Ahuna. And for Liz Cam, resigned earlier, midway through the season. Now Tita Ahuna, who seems to win championships everywhere she goes. Now, in the head coach's office here for the Buff and Blue. On the opposite side here for the Kamehameha Lady Warriors, the Zippy starting lineups with Princey Paului Kalk, along with Nikki Mayo, Kiana Vieira, Kiana Andres, and Kalina Obrey, talented 5'11" forward sophomore, averaging a dozen points per game. Their head coach in his 3rd year with the program, the former McKinley Tiger football coach and proud Tiger alum, Joe Cho. We'll step aside, get you ready for tip-off here to kick off our ILH doubleheader on XCast. Back here inside Kekuhaupio Gymnasium on the campus of Kamehameha Kapalama. We want to let you know that the Interscholastic League of Honolulu asks for your support and cooperation when attending ILH events to please be positive and display good sportsmanship in your cheers, comments, and actions towards all the players, coaches, support staff, game officials, and fellow spectators before, during, and after the event. Mahalo and enjoy the game. Let's get to our officials tonight, brought to you by Shopo, Hawaii's Police Officers Union. Donovan Lewis will be our head referee, joined by John Lee and Robert Trujillo. Donovan Lewis in his 37th season as an official, was part of the Western Athletic Conference for about 18 years, from 89 to 2007. Now enjoying a retired life here. Good to have him here. We'll see him Saturday as well on OC 16 in the doubleheader between St. Francis and University and St. Louis and Kamehameha Kapalama. All right, the Buff and Blue certainly have had their struggles this year, as we mentioned, Kev. I mean, this is a team that's lost 5 out of their last 6 games, 3 consecutive. But what Tita Ahuna has done to try and revitalize this program has been pretty solid so far in her short time here.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting contrast and complementary skills. You also see on the far right of your screen there's Shauna Kue, who is another co-head coach for this program. You've got someone with so much wisdom, so much experience, Tita Ahuna, kind of taking that mentoring role. And then the basketball knowledge. I don't know if there's anyone better in the history of high school basketball than Shauna Kuehu.
You look at all the names that have come through the girls' programs around the state in recent history. I mean, it's almost a Mount Rushmore, if you will. Her face would certainly be up on that mountain. On the opposite side for Joe Cho in his 3rd season as the head coach. Spent 38 years in Oregon as a coach, and the 1972 McKinley graduate. Played at Willamette, was a DC at North Salem. He has done it all. So when this opportunity opened up at Kamehameha Kapalama, he couldn't pass it up. In fact, when he actually got the job, it was almost a nightmare for him in terms of what he had to go through. First off, he was a little bit late because he was at the guard check at the front, didn't have his name on the list. He had to make all these calls. Finally got there, was an hour late for the interview. By the time he got there were about 3 guys in line in front of him. So he goes in. Now it's 2 hours late, goes through his interview, and then finally gets the call from the athletic administration saying, hey, we want to offer you the job. He said, you're kidding me.
He must have killed the interview, right? If you show up 2 hours late, you better have the plan, the man with the plan. He's one of the good guys. I really like Joe Cho.
Tita Ahuna won boys titles at Kamehameha Kapalama. State championships in 91 and 1993. Everywhere she goes, she turns something into gold. And her efforts around the prep scene, and even the collegiate scene, which we'll touch up on as this evening goes on, outstanding.
And even taking it a step back, the work she does with the kids in the community of Keiki with her Tava Tots volleyball program. You talk about the great links, the great life skills, along with the athletics that she has passed on to the next generations.
Kamehameha has had their struggles over the last 7 years against the Buff and Blue. They're 5-12 in the last 17 meetings with Punahou. Punahou's won 7 out of the last 9, but the season's turned around for the Warriors in the head-to-head meetings after defeating Punahou on the 7th, 39-27, and then dropped the game to start the season 56-45. That was at Hemeter Fieldhouse.
Yeah, that last one was not very long ago, 10 days ago, January 7th, and Kamehameha just put a defensive hurting on Punahou. Their lowest scoring total of the year, 27 points, so that's going to be one of the challenges. And talking to Joe Cho, he likes his personnel and kind of the matchups. He says we're doing a little bit of some different things than we typically do, but this has been a really good game plan to contrast Punahou's strengths.
The elbow in the circle for the Buff and Blue on the left, and Kalina Obrey in the right, ready to get us going in the ILH on XCast. Great to have you with us. The tip controlled by the Lady Warriors, and they will have it here to start us off. And they'll feed Obrey. She'll get a lot of touches. Drew the double, the rotating, the skip in the corner, a Mayo 3. And the offensive rebound taken here by Obrey. Kamehameha gave up a lot of offensive rebounds to the Buff and Blue in that meeting 10 days ago. Boxing out high priority here for Joe Cho's crew, especially in the early going to try and set the tone. The Warrior team coming off a 51-39 loss to the top-seeded team in the power rankings, the Marino Spartans. Lost that one by 12. They'll have 2 more games after this one. Here is Obrey, the niece of the great Tioni Obrey and Kainoa Obrey out of HBA and Iolani respectively, the boys and girls volleyball teams. Good defensive pressure there from Aplaka to back that one away. Kept alive on this side. Mayo to Obrey. The double came on the block, still forced it up. And a wasted double possession there for the Warriors. And back on the push with Ueda.
Ueda really one of the symbols of this team. You talk about this team, they're tough. Punahou is they're got a lot of veterans. There's a lot of seniors, and maybe the chemistry, some of the things that Tita Ahuna saying that we need to work on the most. And I'll tell you what, if this is a team that they start getting the off-the-court stuff together, if they start getting that chemistry, they could be very dangerous down the stretch.
Tamagawa found Elborn. First-year varsity woman got blocked by Vieira. Came in and swatted that. Good defensive pressure there from the third-year varsity woman, Vieira. Aggressive to the rim. That's really the early going here for the Warriors. Paul-Louis Kalk will have that one sail out of bounds after the deflection.
You know, you look at some of the strengths of this Kamehameha Kapalama team. They got a lot of team height. They're going to challenge you every single position. I think you could almost go down the route and say that the Kamehameha player is taller than the Punahou player.
Mayo try to work around an Obrey screen. Nothing there. Vieira guarded by Elborn. Deep three. Off the heel, and Aplaka trying to gobble it up. Instead, it comes out to Kundia, and Elborn's leaking out. Just out of a reach, and a turnover here for the Buff and Blue. Well, a couple jabs here in the early going between this.
Yeah, I don't mind Punahou taking some chances, going for some easy points. This Kamehameha Schools team maybe trending as one of the better teams in the ILH. And if you even go back to the beginning of the ILH, a couple of games that they could have won, including a game at Marino where they really let it out of hand.
Yeah, all the way to the rim goes Obrey. Able to bring it in and break the scoring seal.
Saw her as a starter for the volleyball team as a middle blocker this year for Chris Blake. Second place runner-up to Iolani. How's that? She's playing against her uncle in the state championship final.
Kundia, fifth in the state in points per game, trying to get it going. That one blocked by Vieira one more time. Her second one of the afternoon. And on the push, here comes Vieira. Oh, open shot attempts for any one of these two teams. Obrey gets back-to-back buckets.
And Punahou going to really need to look to double team, to help out in the middle. You can take a look at Obrey. Just has that strength advantage and really good side-to-side motion.
Obrey, a young sophomore, the future of this program, according to Coach Joe Cho. Does a lot of good things well on the interior. Kundia, when elevated, got it back though. Kundia, deep three. Rimmed it out. Aplaka, give me that. Dropped it off. And an easy two here for Kristen Tamagawa, averaging 3 a match.
Tamagawa started as a freshman at Mililani on the basketball team, transferred over, had to sit out a year.
And Tamagawa making her presence early here to cut the deficit in half. 4:10 to go, first quarter.
Aplaka now looking to front Obrey instead of staying behind. Like that strategy. Going to need some help from the back though.
Obrey wants it at the high post, but finally gets the touch on the elbow. Possession patience. That was emphasis these last couple of weeks here for Kamehameha Kapalama. Make everyone count. And this pressure here defensively from Punahou has Kamehameha a little confused and hesitant on how they want to attack here. Kamerueta, suffocating defense. Vieira rising up. That's long. The weak side. Elwer might have deflected that shot after Tamagawa tried to battle for it defensively. Andrews was in the mix for the Warriors. And this one ends up being a foul here against Punahou.
Yeah, you know, Vieira ends up with the rebound as we get ready to go to a TV timeout. Love her versatility, how many different skills she brings to the game.
The foul on Ueda, it's number 1. 6 combined points here in this first half of this first quarter here on XCast. Ibua, Kamehameha, cheer squad in the house here in Kekuhapio Gymnasium. And a great cheerleading culture here atop the hill, the national recognition, all those state championships over the years. But now, can cheer their team on. They're only up 2 though, with 3:20 here to go in this first quarter. Some offensive futility, you could look at on one side, or some solid defense. Either way, we just have 6 combined points.
I think it's mostly been about the defense so far. I think we've seen not a ton of shots. We've seen some good on-ball pressure. We've seen some good shot blocking as well from the team in white specifically.
And just 1 total foul that we've seen. Luetta picked it up before the TV timeout. Obrey to trigger. And it's 4-2 here. Sina Uluave, 25. in the buff and the blue for the first time this afternoon.
Brings a little more height, brings a little more shot blocking ability. Volleyball first athlete. Has a lot of potential.
Sanisi, the brother, Uluave, terrific football player.
And I think Sina is a little bigger and a little strong enough to stay behind Obrey. Watch the back door, wide open under the basket.
And that went off the rim on the skip pass, and Vieira tried to chase it down. And an unfortunate bounce for the Warriors. Ends up in a turnover.
Yeah, missed opportunity for Coach Joe Cho's squad. You see putting a lot of pressure, making sure they get 2 on Obrey that time. Maybe a little too much until she gets that ball.
Oh, you're exactly right with the physicality with Uluave. I mean, she will take you out of your spot. And Elborn off the heel on that shot. And here's Kundia, the second opportunity, no. And the rebound came out to Mayo. Tamagawa does a good job to get offensive rebounds. She only stands 5'4" on the roster, but those long rebounds, she'll fly in and sacrifice to keep the possession alive. Couldn't cash in. Oh, Vieira with Obrey. Lurking just on that side of the block. Obrey calling for it, got it. Approaching 2 minutes here to play. Obrey trying to work to the rim. Obrey popping, couldn't drop it. Kundia got another rebound. That's her second one here.
Defense looked good so far for Punahou, so now time to figure out the offense, and got a number of different scorers, including Elueta with the ball.
Tamagawa looking for Kundia, catches this one. Mayo gets the assignment defensively on her. Elborn trying to work around Elueta's screen. Now Elborn says, I'm taking it. Tamagawa got it blocked from behind. That's by Suagodane. And the final 85 seconds of this first quarter. We're still at 4-2. Obrey, the double comes. Obrey, step in, got fouled. She'll come to the line, 4-2.
Drive to the basket, good looking pass, but instead of shooting in space, trying to take it up to the basket. Another shot blocked by Kamehameha. They've done a really good job of collapsing to the penetration, really disturbing a lot of the open shots along the basket.
Uluave picks up her first foul as Obrey. This is the front end of this one. 69% free throw shooter for the season, 64 for her career. Ready to take career free throw attempt 119 coming up.
Averages 13 points a game, pretty good free throw shooter as well. Coach Joe Cho saying, hey, come senior year, she might be one of the premier players in the league. I think it might even be a little sooner than that.
Yep. And misses both of them there. She has all 4 of the Lady Warriors points in this first frame. And these are 2 of the better defensive teams in the ILH, with Punahou allowing just 36 a game. Kamehameha allows 45. Here is Tamagawa. Tamagawa, heavily guarded here by Suagodane. And a 5-second call. Suagodane, just like her brother Fatu, now playing over at Delaware State for football. That aggressive mentality will cause you fits.
And you see Joe Cho on the bench giving the loud round of applause. That's old school, old-fashioned man-to-man defense, and a lot of on-ball pressure. And then when the dribbler picked up their dribble, great job of denying.
40 seconds here to go. A tough shot from Mayo. Had a double clutch that one almost. Andrews gets the rebound. Up top, triple. That's off the rim from Paului Kalk. Fighting for it is Obrey. Paului Kalk, the fake, the take, and the make. Got to the rim. And Princey on the board.
I think the handles and the pass from Obrey really setting up pretty easy lane to the basket.
Final 10 here to go for Kundia and the Lady Buff in Blue. Ueda in and out on the 3. Rebound here from Mayo. 2 to shoot. Intercepted Ueda, and that ends the first quarter. Points at a premium in the first period. But the defensive pressure from Kamehameha allowing to some opportunities on the other end. And the distribution pretty well. Paului Kalk, the take, and it's 6-2 after 1. Coming up next on XCast, about 20 minutes after this one, the boys will take the floor. Kamehameha at 1-3. Punahou at 3-1, trying to keep pace with the likes of Iolani's at the top at 4-0. It comes your way on XCast, channel 1020 after this one. This is our second of 3 dates that we'll have in the ILH. Of course, last week we got to be at the campus of HBA for their homecoming night. And our final date will be this Saturday at McCabe Gym.
Speaking of volleyball, a few of the Kamehameha Schools Kapalama volleyball players in the house.
So yeah, an aspiring OC16 broadcaster, top row right there.
Hua Tilton, Capri Tulong de Silva.
All of them taking in the sights and the sounds and taking in the 6-2 advantage here for their hometown Lady Warriors. Luetta, the baseline drive. Elborn couldn't make the clean catch, somehow got it off to Kundia. And Kundia's 4 years in the varsity team has seen 3 different head coaches. In fact, all the seniors here have gone through such a roller coaster ride and a revolving door of men and women coming through the head coach's offices. Turnover here for the Buff and Blue. Miles still really no shot attempts. Obrey the take with the left. Can't get that one, it's short. And Obrey fighting for it and finally draws the foul. 37 seconds in.
You know, and when you talk about kind of the open door policy and coaches kind of cycling through, I don't think you typically talk about the kind of level of coaches they've had, because that's the contrast. Is they've had winning coaches here. They've had people who know the game well, people who've really had a good proven track record at other places.
Obrey knocks down the free throw, 1 of 3 now. There you see Tita Ohuna. We look in the last 6 years or so. You have the likes of Mike Taylor, Kevin Velasco, Liz Cam, and you have Tita Ohuna. So that's 4 in about a half dozen years. And Tita saying, hey, I'm not a head coach. I'm just grooming, I'm grooming the future here.
She didn't even call herself the head coach, right? She says, I'm the assistant, I'm the mentor. And she puts a lot of faith in Shauna Cuejo.
Kundia needed that one. She knocked down the 3, the 17th of the season for her. She's now number 4th in the state in 3-pointers made.
And I think Punahou is going to do their best work at mid-range to long range. If they get some easy open layups, but the contested layups, there's just too much size, shot blocking ability for this Kamehameha team.
8-5. Up top, here's Vieira. Hit the 3, answered right back. Vieira was tied for 5th in the state with Kundia. Each of them had 16, now they got 17 for the season.
Brings so much to this team. We've seen the shot blocking, we see the ball handling skills, the rebounds, and then the defense.
The deflection from Suagadere. Another block. It is a block party here for the Lady Warriors.
Vieira 10 points a game, and this is the open space. This is what Punahou looking for sure. If they can get some easy points off of defensive turnovers, that'd be great. But I don't think you're going to see a lot of inside, untested open shots.
11-5. Louis Kalk up high. Now they'll rotate it here for Andres. Andres had it jabbed out from Kundia, one of the better on-ball defenders in the ILH Division I. Buff and Blue allow 49 points per game. Right now they've held Kamehameha to 11, but they've only put up 5 here in the first half. So Wagadane trying to feed Obrey. Aplaka does a good job to seal her off in the post. Remember, no shot clock here. A lot of time being taken here from the Lady Warriors. Louis Kalk. Back to the offense for her, and the junior's got 4 points.
11 points a game, and she's such a great shooter on the outside range from 3-pointers, mid-range, so she gets so much respect out there. A lot of times she can take it to the basket. People aren't really looking to stop that against her.
That's going to make Hinano Higa a little bit happy. She plays for the 808 basketball club, does Louis Kalk. Saying, hey, you're a great player. I just wish you were faster. Tells Princey. Showed at least some acceleration there, and now we'll have the first team foul for the Warriors, and it comes at the 5:03 mark, and you can take a look at the Pizza Hut first quarter stats.
And you're just seeing the shooting percentages trending a little bit lower than you would see throughout the year, and a big part of that was the defense. You see the 2 blocks shots from Punahou, 3 as well from Kamehameha Schools Kapalama. think one of the big differences there is some rebounding. We've seen Kamehameha schools getting a few extra opportunities.
Kandia is 4th in the state in free throw percentage with 78%. She's 73% for her career. This is a free throw attempt, 184. Which is that one. That's 5 points for her and a 6-point deficit now here for the Buff and Blue with 5 minutes to go.
Kandia says her favorite food, curry. She eats it before every basketball player game. Her favorite basketball player, Steph Curry. Funny irony.
Off the deflection. Here comes Elborn the other way against Vieira. No good. And the rebound taken by Andres. Number 3 for her. And on the push, Vieira tried to scoop it. No. Elborn got the rebound. Godame nearly took it away and caused the tie-up. And it's going to stay on this side here with Kamehameha.
Vieira a little bit slow to get up at the end of that collision. Even when she's not getting shot blocked, she's causing changes in delivery. Love her game. Kamehameha doubling up in rebounds, 12-6. That's been a real big difference here in a 6-point game.
A dangerous inbound pass in a tight spot with Vieira out there. Obrey, 6 points, went down on the deck, and Elborn leaking out. Can she finish this time? Yes, she can with the left. Tanisha Elborn saying she's just happy to have this opportunity to be with this Buff and Blue team. It's like going to a college campus. It's really helped her academically and athletically. Obrey counted at 1.
And you feel for a blocker here, right? She's doing a great job of swimming over, getting into the top on the defensive side, and that pass over the top. That's got to be someone else who steps in and helps out, because you can't be in 2 places at one time.
Waka picks up number 2, so she has to come out. And now Sina Uluave will come in.
Dinah Jane, her second cousin. She once played on her father's football team in 4th grade, so this is an athlete.
9 points now here for Obrey, 3 of 5 from the line.
You see how Joe Cho cleared out. All of his offensive players really took them outside of the 3-point line to really create that open space on the pass. Love what this guy's doing. Says he's got 3 or 4 more years, he thinks. He's trending towards heading back to Oregon, where he spent a lot of his years as a PE teacher.
Volka Aloha, 42, in the white, in for the first time for the Lady Warriors. We're inside of 4 minutes. And Puno gets some offense going. The defensive battle. Elborn, fake left, went right, and finished strong to the rim. 4 points for the junior, averaging 7 a game. And the force-up draws the foul. This will be the 5th team foul here.
Second quarter become much more offensive, right? We saw so much defensive pressure in that first quarter. Different pace here.
Uluave picks up her second, and it takes us to the TV timeout. 3:25 here to go. We got a 5-point game. Back here in Kekuhapio Gymnasium, Buff and Blue trail by 5 with 3:25 here to go in the second. Puno at 3-7 on the year. Kamehameha 5-4, trying to keep pace with Iolani girls team that is a half game ahead of them at 6-4 in the ILH Division I standings. There's 2 games after tonight for each of these 2 teams, or at least for Kamehameha.
Good look at Shauna Kuehu, 3 high school state championships, 2005, 2006, 2008. Has the all-time single game record in a finals, 37 points in 2006.
Now, you think she was a fiery player, you should see her coach, especially at 8 in the morning. That'll wake you up on that Buff and Blue campus.
I said, did you miss it all in 2006? She said, I think I missed a couple.
I went to the line. She's got her first 2 tonight for the senior, averaging just under 12 a game. It's a 7-point advantage here for the Buff and Blue. Luetta, Tamagawa, Kandia, Elborn, and Aplaka, the 5 ladies on the floor here for Punahou. Luetta wide open corner triple. Just the 6th of the year, the 61st of her 4-year career.
You see the wrap, had an AC shoulder injury earlier in the year. A lot of games will have limited playing time depending on how much pain she's in because of it.
Yeah, the sprained AC joint that she suffered recently. Kandia trying to accelerate to the basket. Forced it up, no. Rebound for Ka'aloa. A tie that's going to keep it on this side here with the Buff and Blue.
I love the hustle, right? They might not have all the pieces. They might not have the size. You think back on their 2016 roster. All the bigs, right? Vae Malufau, Heaven Wong, Tyra Moy. That was a team that had all kinds of inside presence. All of a sudden, this is a smaller team, a little quicker team. They've got to figure out how to play within that strength set.
And for the seniors now, it's those three young ladies that they really model their leadership after, because that's something that's been in desperate need, especially through these times with the different coaches coming through. And Vae Malufau, who is a phenomenal player for Punahou. I mean, that's someone that you can look at as a model to find your voice and get some leadership. Kanagawa feeds Kandia. And Kandia is so quick to the basket, and even when she gets contacted, something that she embraces, it actually helps motivate her to flip up a shot and draw it, as Princey Pa'aluhi Kalk gets called for her first.
Kandia talked about how a special privilege it's been to work with all the former UH basketball players that have kind of come through the Punahou program. She had Keisha Kanekoa, 9th all-time scorer at UH back in 8th grade, Mai Ayabe, as well as the Kuehu sisters, Shayna and now Shauna.
And the free throw's good here for Kandia, who now has 7 on her way to Utah Valley after her senior season. And how about this? Trailing by 7. Now the deficit is just 2 here for the Buff and Blue. Everybody calling for 3 seconds on the Buff and Blue side. Nothing there. Rotate here for Sua Godene.
Love the battle in the middle of Plaka and Obrey.
There's the matchup, the kick out for Sua Godene. Very meticulous here. All the Lady Warriors with 100 seconds to go. Not the ideal pass on the inside. It's taken away. Oweta on the push. And a chance to tie or take on this trip here for Punahou.
You know, the way that the playoffs run with the number 1 seed getting the bye, 2 playing number 3, 4 playing number 5, you don't want to be in that number 4 spot. You really want to push to get up to number 2 or number 3. And this is the kind of game that can make or break whether you're 3 or 4.
Oh, without a doubt. And for the Buff and Blue, they'll have Sacred Hearts coming up on Thursday to wrap up their season before the ILH postseason begins.
And seniors know these kind of things. They know the insides and outs, and they also know that how to really gear things up towards the closing part of the season. This ILH season's such a marathon.
It's off the deflection of Oweta, stays on this side. For the Warriors, they have a tough stretch as Joe Cho will take a timeout. After tonight for the Lady Warriors, they have to go on the road to take on a very good Iolani team that actually leads the ILH Division I in three-pointers made at 54. And then you got to take on Marinol at home right here in this gym. So that's a very difficult schedule coming up for Kamehameha.
And they're 5-4 in league, Punahou at 3-7. So, you know, you could really see Punahou getting to 5-7 if they can pull off this game here tonight.
Joe Cho, who said that this was really an ideal situation, how the cards and how the stars aligned for him to get here. As you mentioned, Kevin eventually wants to go back to Oregon to retire. I asked how much tire is on this coaching stretch. He said, you know, he'll reevaluate each year, but he does feel like he's got a good solid 3 or 4 years. What's funny with a guy like Joe Cho, the similar thing happened when he was in Oregon. You know, he was like, okay, this is going to be it. And then he got the coaching bug. So who knows here for Joe Cho.
Right. And a lot of people say he was a star at McKinley, 3-time All-Star, went on to Willamette, 2-time All-American linebacker. And the tie to Kamehameha Schools Kapalama, his wife Wendy, who went here, was a track and field state champion, sprinter, also did some softball, did some volleyball.
And he really feels like his life has come full circle.
Right.
From Oregon from McKinley to Oregon, back to McKinley, and then back here to where he met his late wife. I mean, it's you couldn't feel happier for a guy like Joe Cho.
Yeah, there's a real settle to it. The late Wendy Kalahiki.
50 seconds here to go. 2-point advantage here for the Lady Warriors. Can Punahou get a good stop and a good possession? Obrey gets the catch. Warriors, let me see if they're looking for a good shot or play for the final. Obrey been a bit quiet here in this second quarter, although she does have 9 of the Kamehameha 18 points.
And you can just see this whole dance is looking for an Obrey delivery. She's gonna get the ball. She's great off the dribble. She's great penetrating and delivering.
A solid defensive stop can do wonders in terms of momentum heading into the second half. For Punahou. Timer at 10, first half. Here comes Mayo. Clock at 6. Says, I got it. Mayo trying to get around Kundia. Trying to force it up. And a tie-up. And it's going to stay on this side with 2 seconds to go.
Best defensive stop we've seen for Punahou, and yet they got to stop again. 2 more seconds.
So Agadane will trigger it. 2 ticks left. Vieira lets it fly. And we hit the half. Warriors led by as many as 7 in this first half. But when Tanisha Elborn gets out into transition, Kamaile Kundia with her team-high 7 points help lead the way. Punahou right back in it here. And another tight game between the Buff and Blue and the Warriors. Halftime here on XCast. (18-16) Kamehameha leads it over Punahou. Eilidge girls basketball here on XCast. We welcome you back here inside Keku Halpio Gymnasium, courtside. Kevin Wong, I'm Felipe Alhastro. All right, what'd you make about what you saw there in those first 2 quarters?
I thought we saw a couple of veteran teams. We saw some patient offense and some pretty stifling defense in the first quarter. And then in the second quarter's teams starting to get into their rhythm. I think we're going to see a really beautiful second half here.
Let's take a look at the first half stats. They are delivered by Pizza Hut.
Taking a look, right, we saw 20% and 15% early on with the shooting percentage, all of a sudden trending up. The free throws, we got the 2 best in the state. You're seeing that. The rebound advantage, a big deal for Kamehameha Schools Kapalama, but Punahou kind of equalizing with the block shots and the steals. I think we expect the steals. I don't know if we expected the block shots, and I think you're seeing a lot of heart for Punahou.
Some of the highlights from what we saw in that first half really was set early by the likes of Kalina Obrey, who had 9 first half points. She was 3 of 5 from the field, attacking the basket. Gotta love the aggressiveness from what we saw at her. And then you have Vieira, as you mentioned. Those blocks, those 2, an unbelievable force here all throughout this ILH season.
Right, the length, I think the strength, you have that combined. Really not a lot of space inside the paint, close to the basket.
Princey Pa'aluhi Kalk with 4 points of her own. Kamaile Kundia took a while for her offense to get going, had 7 first half points in that one. Elborn leaking out into transition, had 2 quick baskets back-to-back, 4 points for her. So 11 out of the 16 combined for Kundia and Elborn. Big game just to try and get some momentum with the playoffs coming up in the ILH. Third quarter is coming up next. Punahou and Kamehameha here on XCast. See Tanisha Elborn played 2 years of varsity ball. She was a phenomenal freshman for Charles Chong's crew over at Radford. Had the opportunity to come here and play. Sat out last year, as we mentioned, for ILH transfer rules. And now can her offense get going? Only 4 points in that first half. Had a bevy of open looks. Kundia, good showing, going, drew the foul on the take. Princey Pa'aluhi Kalk gets called for foul number 2.
You know, we talked about shooting in space, but Kundia does such a good job of making contact, of going strong to the basket and getting to the foul line. And with as good as she shoots at the foul line, it's a good place to be.
Well, she's hit 5 consecutive free throws now.
I knew she was unjinxable. You know, some players you don't want to say anything too loud, but Kamaile, unjinxable. I'm doubling down. Yes.
9 points now. Nicely done, my friend. And now we're tied at 18. Kamehameha led by as many as 8 in that first half. And the Buff and Blue have stormed their way to make it a tie game. Pa'aluhi Kalk drew the foul. And Elueta saying, what's the deal? And got her with the body. She does get called for her third foul.
Palui Kalk on the smaller side, but someone who can drive and plays very strong. And I think a player who looks like she does, but plays like she does a little bit stronger, she can get the benefit of the doubt a lot of times when that contact is made.
Officially her second foul. And she'll knock in those 2 free throws. 6 now for the junior. We'll see her brother JJ playing for St. Francis against University Laboratory Saturday on OC 16.
Wow.
And El Ueda just pulled the trigger and knocked it down, her second one tonight.
Someone who sat in the halftime locker room and said, you know what, I think I'm going to take some shots here in the second half. I love the aggressiveness.
Yeah, I think that shoulder's all right. 6 points for her. And the Buff and Blue with their first lead here of the game. Mayo answers back with a triple.
You know, I was just thinking to myself, wow, Kamehameha Schools doesn't really need to force from long range, and then it makes me eat my words. It's okay. Youth these days, love the confidence, both sides.
We had 6 combined points in the first quarter. We have 10 combined here in the first minute and 20 seconds. Mayo the rebound and on the push. Mayo operates this offense so well. Palui Kalk, what a pass. Mayo, Vieira. Kandia close distance, went around her and got to the rim. Mayo's got 7.
And without that shot blocker on the inside, right, there's really no fear. Once you get past the first line of defense for Punahou, there really isn't much left after.
Mayo told me she has the dreams of playing collegiate ball. No official offers just yet, but with her work ethic, she'd be a nice addition to any Division II team. This is touch, and Kandia stepped out of bounds, and it's Kamehameha ball.
There's the long-range shot from Mayo. It's a big-size point guard, right? Someone who can play some good on-ball pressure D, averaging 12 points a game.
And her sister Lilia playing over at Chaminade University. Yeah, ballers all over that Mayo family, I'll tell you that. 25-21. Obrey trying to get active here in this third quarter, but it's been the supporting cast that has picked up some of the offensive slack here for the Warriors. Vieira just trying to get away from Elborn. Obrey fed it inside off Mayo. Mayo circled the wagons and lost it. Kandia the takeaway. And they have numbers if they push, but Kandia, who felt like she got bumped by Vieira, loses it out of bounds, and it's Warrior ball.
And I think that's why Vieira is such a tough matchup, right? Because she's got the length. A lot of fast players in the ILH. I don't think you have that fast and that length combination.
5th turnover here for the Buff and Blue. And Tanisha Elborn just does not let you breathe at all. She'll close in distance quick, and she's been working that baseline all afternoon. Poke from behind by Uluave, nearly lost by Obrey. Uluave got to be careful with those hands.
I like how she's pushing Obrey out of the low paint. I like this matchup.
And finally, there's that call against Uluave, who will pick up number 3.
You know, you talk about a Plaka, and she's more of a 3-guard. She's usually a perimeter player, and she's kind of being forced to play in the 5-post position. Whereas Uluave maybe a little more accustomed to playing in the paint. And I like what Shauna Kuehu and Tita Hoon are doing with kind of going 50-50 here with the two of them.
So Plaka comes in, who picked up 2 fouls in that first half, had to be checked out. More patient basketball here for the Warriors. Vieira unload a 3, hit the top of the backboard, and Plaka trying to get the box out, and it goes off her and out. And Vieira, who is in her 3rd year on this varsity team, she's a dangerous threat all over the floor, and playing for something much more than a win, playing for her family, Mom Joanne and Dad Richard, and for her grandfather, Jacob Kalekini, who was diagnosed with a terminal cancer, who still is able to watch the game. In fact, watching us right now on XCast. Hello to you, Grandpa. In the corner goes Obrey. Obrey got the touch and the turnaround short on the box shot.
Punoho's got numbers.
Well, they don't have ball handling on this trip, and Kandia got to get it across the line. And a 10-second violation is called. All starting from the Warrior lockdown D.
And we've seen a couple of these kind of plays where you would think senior leadership, you would think some of the experience on these teams, they would have that inner clock that kind of counts off in the back of your head.
Another wasted opportunity there for the Buff and Blue. Suagadane now to Obrey, working against a Plaka who has 2 fouls. Took it strong to the basket, no. Obrey got it back, lost it on the way up. 4 hands were up, and Tito Ahuna saying, what gives, because a foul is called here.
And you see all the hands up on the bench, and Puno, I don't know about that play. It almost looked like a jump ball with the shooter and the hip of the defender.
It's on a Plaka, it's number 3. That'll take us to the TV timeout. I'm with you, Kev. That looked like no call right there. Fighting underneath. Obrey, like her aggressiveness, but she'll go to the line on the other side of this timeout. 25-21. Home team, Kamehameha, on top of Punoho as we hit the home stretch of this 2017 ILH season. Boys coming up with the Warriors and the Buff and Blue. 2 teams trying to really get their feet, continue to charge forward midway point of the ILH season. But right now, a Plaka who gets called for her 3rd foul, which looked like a non-call from our perspective. Will remain in the game. Obrey back to the line. It was 3 of 5 from the stripe tonight. And Obrey rims that one out. Obrey going for her 8th double-figure game this year and the 17th of her career. She can knock down this free throw. Rahina Pua'a in for the first time. 33 in the Buff and Blue. Replaces a Plaka.
Starting setter on the volleyball team as well.
And there is the 17th career double-figure game for Obrey. She's got 10. It's a 26-21 lead. Poeta trying to work around a Pua'a screen. Kandia, guarded by Mayo. Mayo's like a pit bull when she's guarding you. Lost it on the floor. It's still ripped away, and Suagadane got the take. They are pushing with Vieira. Elborn comes to close in on the corner. Pa'aluhi calling for it. Air ball on the 3, and the rebound taken by Elborn. Remember, Elborn was working point guard when she was at Radford, now into that 2-3 spot.
Amazed at how much patience both teams are showing, right? Real discipline, no forced shots, great ball motion.
O'Neal will get the handoff from Pua'a. Oh, it was wide open on that wing, and now they got to slow it down yet again. It is a 6-0 advantage on the run here for Kamehameha. Punoho trying to end it right now with 2.5 here to go in the 3rd. Triangle out there, that's loose on the floor and taken away. Here comes Princey Pa'aluhi Kalk.
How about Elborn's speed to get back?
And the unselfish basketball ends to an Obrey 2. A dozen here for Obrey. 8-0 run, stopped by Elborn.
You almost think Elborn's got to be the difference maker out here, right? It's almost like she's kind of stifled herself throughout this game. So much pressure on Kandia. I think someone's got to step up as that 2nd leading scorer, and she's candidate number 1.
It's her first field goal of this 2nd half. Kandia counted and 1 for Tamagawa.
Undersized. She's typically a 2 or 3 guard. She's playing in the 4 as one of the posts. On her way to Pacific University in Oregon.
Mayo picks up her first.
It's a tough bucket.
Yeah, Tamagawa to the line, who was 53% from the stripe, 52 for her career. That's nylon right there for Kristen Tamagawa, the senior. 5 points for her, and it's back to a 1-point deficit now for Punahou. So as quickly as the Warriors got an 8-0 run, it's now a 5-0 run. Make it 6 here for the Buff and Blue. And a foul here against Punahou.
You got a feel for Obrey here, right? They're sending the platoon of defenders against her. We've seen Aplaka starting off. We've seen Uluave. Now we see Pua'a. A lot to handle when you're just a sophomore.
Yeah. But she has handled all this pressure pretty well. 13 points now. The foul was on Kristen Tamagawa, her first. So that the bond is a lot tighter this year, according to Kalina Obrey. It's really helped us grow and mature while facing challenges this season, especially that first game of the season against the Buff and Blue in a 11-point loss for the Warriors. The lead is back to 3 for Kamehameha. Elborn on the drive and the finish. And the juniors got 9.
She's got a special speed, right? A knack for getting to the basket. I remember that first freshman game we saw, the south to north speed special.
Bailey Chan, who had an ACL injury in the summer, hits her first three-pointer of the season.
Hasn't played much all night long, right? Straight off the bench, straight in the scoring column.
She scored her first points of the season on the 14th in their last game against Marino. Had 2 points there, and now that 3 gives her a season high. And now Punahou playing for 1. They have led by 1 in this quarter.
And the 2 threats, Kundia with the ball, and of course Elborn, who's got the hot hand.
10 to go, Kundia, Ueda, working in the paint. Ueda flipped it up at the bottom of the backboard. 3 seconds. Here's Vieira. Checks the clock. Vieira let it fly. End of the third. You like the intensity now. More offense being produced from both teams here in this third quarter. The Buff and Blue got on a good run to take a 1-point lead, but after 3 on the campus atop the hill, Kamehameha 33, Punahou 29, and off we go to the fourth when you come back here on XCast. Back here on the campus of Kamehameha Kapalama. All right, so the volleyball girls, I wish they just showed more personality. You know, I just wish...
so subdued.
Let's go inside the huddle here, Kevin, of this Kamehameha coaching staff as you see the boys get ready. Joe Chon is third year with the program, saying that he isn't able to do what he's been able to do if it wasn't for that man on the left side of your screen in the white polo shirt.
Yeah, my coach, Bob Benham, longtime coach. He was actually one of the athletic directors here at Kamehameha Schools Kapalama, and he was busy being an athletic director, just recently retired and now able to commit a lot more time to this basketball team. And Joe Cho saying our girls are learning their roles on the court more, and I'm getting a lot more help on the bench.
A lot of his family have worked on this Kamehameha Kapalama campus. Vokomis High School spent 2 years coaching the boys program over there, won a Capital Circuit Conference championship. And now helping out with Joe Cho and his crew. And now we start the fourth with a 4-point lead for the Lady Warriors. Vieira to Mayo. And Mayo puts it in. Points 8 and 9 here for the senior. Kundia, Ueda, Aplaka back in. Joins Tamagawa and Elborn. The 5 ladies that started the game start this fourth quarter here for Punahou. Elborn. Who's going to step up and produce offensively? Elborn. That's a start. Draw the foul. She'll come to the line.
Really see Elborn going at this very analytically. That's something that Tito Huna said, such a student of, academic-wise and also a student of the game. She's someone who loves solving Rubik's Cube, she says. She says when I'm nervous, when I'm worried about other things, I'll just get on my Rubik's Cube and it helps me kind of relax a little bit.
And that's not surprising. Take a look at her GPA at 3.8 this year. And those are her lucky glasses, according to her. She says she went to the Bill Williams Summer League over on the continent and earned some looks from Columbia and Brown. So since then, she's worn those glasses every single game. They have never fallen off. She says, sometimes I get hit in the face, and it actually helps me secure these glasses on my face. It's a good look for Tanisha Elborn, and we'll see one more year of her. She's just a junior. Here is Obrey. Pa'aluhi Kalk did some big shots to swing the momentum back for the Lady Warriors in spots. Obrey will join Suagadane, Vieira, along with Mayo and Pa'aluhi Kalk.
You look at how limited the bench usage has been for both teams. You really get a feeling of who's in better shape will pay off here towards the latter part of this game.
Every possession precious now, especially the 4-point game. Elborn, good active hands. And Elborn drew the foul. She'll go back to the line.
Amazing speed, right? The ability to turn defense into offense. Team's kind of back against the wall, and she's been really the one who stepped up and changed it. Spent a lot of time all over the world, military family, born in Germany. I love the quote she gave me. She said, "Everybody dies, but not everybody lives."
I love the quote she gave me when she said, you know, I tried to model my game after Steph Curry, and then I saw the NBA Finals, and I said, yeah, I'm not going to be doing Steph Curry. So actually models it more after Russell Westbrook, who's been a triple-double machine, and you see a little bit of it there. She can score from the outside, distributes the ball well, an outstanding rebounder. So a little bit of everything at the buffet for Elborn.
But he didn't even get to the finals.
No, you're correct right there. Cuts the deficit in half. 13 here for Elborn. The tip around. Obrey got it back and put it back in. Obrey's got 16 points. Elborn's got the hot hand. Owena off on the 3 and into the arms of Mayo. Rebound number 6. Timeout taken by Jo Cho and the Warriors. It'll be a full timeout.
I like that timeout, right? You get a feeling that Punahou wants to start pushing the pace a little faster. Seems like Kamehameha Schools Kapalama likes the height advantage, likes the strength on the inside.
It takes us to the third quarter stats, delivered by Pizza Hut, Kev.
Just keeps on getting better and better. The shooting selections are getting better. People are starting to hit better. And then the free throw percentage. Punahou 7 for 7. It's old school values that's really kept them in this game and not lagging far behind. Kamehameha Schools Kapalama 9 for 12.
No, for the game, Punahou is 11 for 11. These are two okay free throw shooting teams according to their coaches. Punahou at 69%, Kamehameha at 68%. Right now tonight, it's 75% for Kamehameha and 100 on 11 attempts here for the Buff and Blue.
And I think their coaches are being a little bit severe because you look at the statewide stats. Yeah. This is number 1 Punahou versus number 2 Kamehameha.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to set the bar high, but you also want to see where the bar compares to other schools throughout the state.
37-33. We mentioned Tina Ahuna, what she has done really in her time, no matter where she is. The captain of that 1987 Rainbow Wahine Volleyball National Championship squad, included into the Circle of Honor 4 years ago. Won titles at Hawaii Pacific University, 98 and 2000.
You know what's amazing about her? She started as a freshman here at Kamehameha in volleyball, basketball, softball. 4-year starter in all 3 of them, and then when she decided to go out for track and field her senior year, won the high jump championship.
Who is this woman, right?
Superwoman.
That's crazy. Good defensive pressure there from the Buff and Blue, and it'll be Punahou ball, and that's the possession they needed. The Warriors with now 9 turnovers thus far. Kundia's got 9 points. Is it her last 5 points from the line? Oh, the takeaway from Vieira. And that's some of the length that we talked about and the problems it can cause opposing teams.
Kamehameha really spreading it out right now, giving a lot of space to create in the middle. And on cue, you see Princey Palui Kalk doing exactly that. And really aggressive. We haven't seen her taking too many outside shots. She hasn't settled for that. She's been pretty fearless, and I like that matchup specifically against an undersized Punahou team.
Kalk now 4. We'll make it 3 for 3 at the line. Broke her ankle earlier this season. Had to deal with food poisoning as well. Rattles that one down for her 8th point. (39-33). Kundia to the cup. Got it. Kundia's got 11 points. Her 8th double-figure game this season, the 19th of her career. Kundia averaging 15 a game. She's 5th in the state in that department. Now she's putting up 11. Reaching that mark. Here comes Zoetta.
You really get the feel, well, like this might be the 5 that we see throughout this last quarter, right? There's not any look that there's going to be any subs coming in here.
See if JoCho wants to milk out some more clock. They are up 4. This has been the philosophy in these kind of situations.
A lot of timeouts left for both teams, too.
Mayo going to circle the wagons and milk out some more clock.
And I think for Punahou, if you think of 4 points, it seems pretty close, but in this kind of defensive battle, they might want to press the situation a little bit.
What a spin move there from Mayo to free up space. And she'll draw the foul and go to the line. This one is against Tamagawa, who has picked up the last couple of fouls for the Buff and Blue. That's number 3, and that'll take us to our final TV timeout. It's still a 4-point lead for the Warriors. Could grow with Mayo going to the line when you come back. It is the Punahou cheer squad in the house. They'll be here all night, getting ready for game number 2 as well with the Warriors and the Buff and Blue. The boys will hit the floor at around 7 o'clock here on XCast. Right now with 3:59 here to go in the 4th, 39-35 with Kevin Wong, Felipe Ojastro. Inside the huddle of Tira Ahuna, co-head coach. This is going to come down to the wire, could be. Mayo had a great spin move in the lane to draw the foul on Tamagawa, who picked up her 3rd before the timeout. You see Mayo's numbers here tonight. Mayo averaged 2.3 her freshman year, 8.5 her sophomore year, 9.6 last year, and now at 12 here in 2017.
It's a good progression, right?
As long as the stocks go up for Mayo.
Free throw's been pretty good tonight. 11 for 11 for Punahou, 11 for 15 now for Kamehameha Schools Kapalama.
Mayo's got 10. It's another double-figure game for her. It's her 7th of the season. It's a 5-point advantage. Punahou led in the 3rd quarter by 1. Kundia and draw the foul, and she'll come to the line. So that's what it could come down to. Suagadane gets called for the blocking foul.
And she's out there for defense. She's out there for rebounds. And pretty good defensive stand there, but got to give credit to Kundia. She's just so slashy, able to find a little bit of a light at the end of the dark tunnel.
And Kundia will miss the free throw, actually playing against her former Kalakaua club member, Mikiala Mayo, 23 in the white. Now currently, Kundia plays for the Storm. I said, what's the biggest improvement here, and why have you been so effective? She said, well, my dad, Raj, actually made me shoot around at the park sometimes at 6 a.m. in the morning. And she's got to give a huge credit to her sister, Alohi, who's 11 years old, who actually helped rebound for Kundia in those park shoot-arounds. And has really helped her offensively. Finally among the top 5 in points per game. Gets called for the foul right here, though, at the 3:34 mark. That's her first.
Hey, you know, we always talk about the younger sibling and how great it was. They grew up in the gym and they got to kind of learn the lessons. And in reality, that's a glamorous, glorified version of the fact is they're running around rebounding for their older sister.
The 1-on-1 situation.
JoCho saying our kids are really learning their roles much better. We're getting much more patient on the offensive side. We're making better decisions. Really like where our team is at this point in the season.
Mayo's got 12. Obrey has 16. Those are the two Lady Warriors in double figures, 7-point game. Plaka. Oh, charging right over some defenders. And a blocking foul will be called. Strike call.
I like Plaka taking it aggressively. You figure if she's going to give up some size advantage in the middle, she should have a little bit more speed, and that time doing exactly that. I'll tell you, being a tough basketball player doesn't necessarily match her hobby, but it's a good contrast. She likes crocheting.
Plans to play at Concordia next year as a walk-on spot. Suffered ACL injuries during her sophomore season. For the senior who grew up in Waipio, said the freshman year was the hardest year of my life. I was really kind of thrown into the fire, didn't know my place, but if it wasn't for the leadership of her fellow teammates and some of the names that we mentioned, the Vai Malufau's of the world, she has really found her voice. Foul here.
And it makes sense that a game between the #1 and #2 free throw shooting teams is turning into a little bit of a free throw shooting battle at the end. A little more pressure, a little more fatigue.
Kiara Young called for the foul. Paului Kalk right back to the line. A 1-and-1. That might be a way for Punahou to buy some possessions here. Here's Kandia. How aggressive will they be? Everyone's saying go to the basket. Ueda not going to take that three. She's taking it to the rim. No, on the floor. It felt like it was in the act. Counted on the floor here. So instead, it's a 1-and-1 situation. So
this goes every time in the NBA with the continuation, but I almost like that. I think very disciplined call. Maybe not necessarily what the crowd wants, right? But a good call nonetheless.
Ueda missed that one and got her own rebound. So the trip stays alive. And she stepped on the sideline. And it's Kamehameha ball. There's been a threat from above the arc. She's hit 2 triples and a Kamehameha timeout now. 30-second TO.
See Ueda's foot speed there. More of a soccer player first. Looking to play that sport at the next level. And then Jocho, old school, right? Slowing things down. He's been around coaching for a long, long time.
And he says, if I wasn't coaching or teaching, I don't know what I would be doing. He would still try to be active. Back in his early days, he used to be a pro racquetball player and sponsored for a couple of seasons over in Oregon. Got a lot of free stuff. And there's actually a racquetball court here on the Kamehameha campus to the right of our position upstairs. I said, did you get some time to go in there? He's like, no, not yet, but when things settle down, maybe.
if things settle down,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, he just keeps on going. And right now you see Ueda with that heavily wrapped up right shoulder with that AC joint. So she still has mobility. She's been doing some great things this season for the Buff and Blue, but take a seat on the bench. Inside of 3 minutes, it's a 6-point advantage. Still within range. And Tanisha Elborn will foul Kiana Vieira. This will be the last 1-and-1 situation for the Warriors.
How's Vieira's handles, right? So smooth, great vision. Kind of the new generation of basketball player, the length, the speed. Didn't have players like that back in my day.
That free throw goes down. Vieira hit a 3 earlier in the game. She's hit a 3, and now she's hit a 3-pointer in 13 consecutive games when you go back to the last season. Pretty solid from the line as well. 8-point advantage now.
Alexi Taylor coming in the game, gets you another 3-point shooter on the outside. Someone with great court awareness.
Ueda back on the floor. I told her, I've heard your name pronounced 40 different ways. Is it Ueda? Is it Ueda? Is it Ueda? She says, I don't know. I said, how about Ueda? She said, that's fine. She said, some of my family members don't even know either. So the mystery will solve soon. Up top, a Plaka, no. Kandia, the offensive rebound. The putback off the window is good. It is back to a 6-point game with 2:25 remaining.
The Ueda family's got to figure it out because she's got a younger sister with the name is spelled Z-O-E.
Yeah.
Father called her Zoe, and right in front of me, I called her Zoe, and she said, no, it's Zoe.
Oh, no.
You need a media guide.
Yes.
For your family.
Wow, we'll go to the line. Foul here on Kandia, who picks up her second. The amazing Miki Alamayo. At 70% from the stripe. Ice water for her. 14 points as well. And back to an 8-point advantage. Still plenty of time here to go. Each team in the bonus. Kamehameha in the double bonus. Elborn. Rattled off a three, and Suagane, the rebound, they'll foul her quickly. He might set a record for free throws at this pace, I think. He had 23 attempts so far from Kamehameha Kapalama. Now Plaka's going to pick up her 4th foul now, so that's dangerous.
Look at how much fun Joe Cho's having on the sideline, right? This is a guy who's himself had such an illustrious football and basketball prep career, onto great things. You said in racquetball and football at the collegiate level. He said the kids get their roles, not always the parents. He said the one thing that would make me retire sooner than later, the parents. He says sometimes they just don't know how to take a backseat.
Joe Cho, as Mayo misses the free throw, actually was coached in his football days by a guy named Joe Ho. I said, did you ever talk to him and said, hey, you're Joe Ho, I'm Joe Cho? He's like, no. He was kind of a rugged coach. Didn't want to bring it up. Friendly roll for Kandia, who hits the three. 16 points now for her. Pressure continues. Vieira hit the floor hard. And now they quickly foul Obrey.
Yeah, I love the heart from Punahou. You see it. It's starting on the bench. They're all standing up. You see Shauna Kuehu standing up on the sideline. She's a young, up-and-coming coach, 26, almost 27. Got married into the Enriquez family. Guy Enriquez, the father. The husband is Corey Enriquez. They married 6 years ago, and they have a daughter, Kaiona, who's 5 years old. Said, has she started playing basketball yet? She said she actually played I-9 last year and had a great time, yeah.
1:42 officially remaining. And Obrey knocks in the free throw. She has 17 points now, and it's a 6-point game. Big shot here can really help the Buff and Blue. And it's Kandia, and it was initially saved by Elborn, but hit that thick blue line. Kandia thought she was fouled on the way shooting that shot. And a timeout taken here by Punahou. Punahou's lost 3 consecutive games. 53-42, that was a road game against Iolani 3 days ago. Warriors trying to get back into the win column after dropping their game to Marino, 51-39. It was really nip and tuck in that first half, and that third quarter came and kind of separated things as Punahou tries to keep pace on the boys' side with the likes of Iolani, who's at 4-0 atop the standings. Warriors at 1-3, but 3 of those losses, or 2 of them, have been separated by just 2 points. Something special happens when the Warriors and the Buff and Blue play. That's game 2 of our doubleheader. Expected to tip off at 7 o'clock here on XCast.
And the coaching staff, Greg Tacone, who had a quick stint over at Punahou, maybe a little, not bad blood, but there's always an extra bit of energy you bring when you face against a former school, former administration.
Especially the way that it ended. For a guy who won 21 games and then was released by Punahou, and then for Moanalua, they were fortunate enough to scoop him up, and he helped change that basketball culture of 7 seasons.
And single-handedly brought Sweater Vest back into the conversation here in Hawaii.
It's 47-41. Haven't seen too much of the press in this game. We've seen it in spurts, but the Buff and Blue will choose to go for it, and Kandia will foul. Miki Alamayo. Cundia will pick up the foul. That is number 4 on her.
Talked about it coming in. Mariner turning the corner, some tough losses early in the year. This is a Kamehameha Schools team, 5-4 in the league. They could easily be 7-2. They could easily be in the running to lead. Instead, Mariner winning some of the close ones, clinching that first berth into the state tournament, and now it kind of leaves a lot of good teams on the outside looking in to find that last spot.
She'll hit the free throw there. 16 now for Mayo, 8-point game, 90 seconds to go. Time running out here for the Buff and Blue. Kamehameha has done a masterful job at stifling momentums. The double came on Elborn. Aplaka freed up and banked it in for the basket.
How good does she look there in her home natural turf?
And a foul here with 1:14 remaining. Not pretty good, I'd say.
Right, just slashing, the great lateral motion. Nice use of the backboard. You can almost just see her kind of taking a deep breath because she's in a comfortable spot.
Elborn picks up the second foul. Mayo has been so deadly from the free throw line. It almost becomes automatic when she's at the stripe. 17 points, and it's off the heel. And that breaks a streak of 8 straight free throws that she had. It's loose on the floor, and before the timeout is called, the tie-up is called. Actually works out for the Puno Buff and Blue. They save a timeout because a possession error was pointing their way. All right, so now all 3-point shooters on the floor here. Lexi Taylor, 12 in the Buff and Blue, the 5'5" senior, another 4-year varsity member. It's a 7-point deficit. Cundia, Oeda set the small screen. Aplaka set a harder one. Up top, Elborn. Short. Aplaka offensive rebound. The tie-up forces it the other way now. Possession arrow Warriors. .56 seconds here to go. Kamehameha trying to get to 6-4 on the season. And remember, the way that the ILH postseason works, everyone's going to make it there. So the likes of Sacred Hearts is in that mix. And look out for a dangerous Iolani team as well. Like Kemi Aguinaldo, averaging 14 a game for the Raiders. She is a phenomenal athlete.
Once again, Punahou switching in offense for defense, bringing in Uluave, a little size in the middle, and Tamagawa for a little speed on the outside.
4-5 from the line. Now 5 of 6 here for Pa'aluhi Kalk, her 11th double-figure game. She's got 10. 3 players now in double figures for the Warriors. 3/4 of a minute to go. Aplaka counted and one.
And I think this is something moving forward that Punahou can really take advantage of, that mismatch. If you take all 5 players away from the basketball, all of a sudden Aplaka's size disadvantage in the inside becomes an advantage on the outside where she's got a much quicker first step.
Aplaka wanted to send a shout out to her older brother, Jacob, who's actually getting his PhD in English. I said, that's interesting. She said, yeah, why would my brother put himself through that to get a PhD in English? But that kind of work ethic is something that she has modeled after her basketball game. And with 41 seconds here to go, we got more free throws coming.
So,
double header as the Warriors of Kamehameha able to win it big by 10, 55-45 to move to 6-4 on this season. We'll meet you at the top of the hour for some ILH Division I boys basketball with Kevin Wong, Felipe Hostro. You're watching ILH basketball here at XCast, Oceanic Time Warner Cable.
presentation was proudly brought to you by Enjoy Snacks, IBEW Local 1186 and its unionized electrical contractors, and Hawaii Honda dealers. Thanks for watching XCast, your home for the most extensive coverage of live high school sports. If you would like to purchase a DVD copy of this event, please visit our website, www.oc16.tv, then click on the Shop tab. Events generally available within 2 weeks of first airing.